Welcome back, everybody, to Phil's Recap and Review, Vikings, Season 4, Episode 5, Promise, the post-episode recap and review. And I'm here with Joe, Dirty Locks, and Katie Crow tonight to talk about this episode of Vikings. And could I even wait? Is Lagertha just maybe one of the best characters ever on television? I love her. I love her opportunistic nature. I love how she never stops being a Viking. And this just really, again, just showed it to me and made me fall in love with her all over again. It's like Dick Drop all over again. But everybody, this is the first time joining us. Thank you so much. Please jump in the live chat room with the M&F and Issues chat, the motherfucking Issues chat. Some of the best people in the world in there talking about this episode of Vikings. Or whenever you watch this, please share your thoughts of this episode of Vikings. You can also reach me by email, igotissuesman@gmail.com. Or you can also tweet me at igotissuesman or tweet Joe at DirtyLocks if you want to ask us any questions during the week. And please also, whenever you're watching this, share your thoughts in the comment section below. So let's get into talking about this episode of Vikings. What did you guys think of this episode?
I liked it. It was a little slow. I think Joe said that, but I thought it was good. It told a good story, and we got some good progression in individual stories.
Mm-hmm. I liked the last 10 minutes a lot, but I'm one of those guys that's like, I just want more and more action. I know we need this stuff to set up character development and storylines and plots, and I do like it. I did like the episode, but God, I just want more cleaving and axing. And
Joe, normally I might agree with you because I have the short attention span and I want action. But on this show, I love this stuff. I love the build. I love all of this progression. I love this. It's all almost like that scene with Ragnar and Yidu, where leading up to the kiss, the build up. It's getting me built up so much, and I know seeing scenes from next week, this is all going to explode so well, Joe. So I see what you're saying, but I disagree with you on this one.
Wait, we did get some baby axe action.
Baby axe. I did like the episode. I do like the build up and all that stuff. But remember last week. Remember that feeling you had at the end of last week? I still have that feeling going into tonight's episode of I wanted it to start immediately after that who the fuck are you scene.
Right.
And so I was looking for like right off the bat this like tension that wasn't there. So I'm not saying that I didn't like the episode. I really did, and it had great development and great character stuff, and whatever about France and Wessex, that kind of stuff. I wish they'd kind of took that page from The Walking Dead and did focus episodes.
This is one of those episodes where I didn't mind it because it was such a small part of the episode. So much Viking stuff tonight. I loved every second of that stuff. And the whole second half of the episode was all fucking Vikings. We got all that other shit over with at the beginning. Let's jump into the chat really quick. So we see a bunch of our friends: Tim, David, Timo, Sam. Welcome. We have someone wants to know if the crow will warg into the wolf once Game of Thrones season happens. Maybe
it's tough. I'm still trying to perfect the crow.
Yeah, she's been having troubles getting warged into other things.
Yeah, I think she might be warging into a Fraggle one day or something. I don't know.
I can only dream.
Only dream. We'll talk about that after the show. But let's continue.
God forbid she ever turn into a Smurf with my cats in the house.
Critch says to Joe, I understand, Joe. I keep wanting Ragnar to wreck shit. His reflection wears on me, even though it's necessary.
Get rags.
Hello, Tim. Welcome. And everybody, I also want to say a big, huge, happy St. Patrick's Day to those of you that celebrate the holiday. I was going to drink tonight, but instead I hit my head very hard in this shower. So if I seem a little at times in this podcast, it's not because I've been drinking on St. Patrick's Day. It's because I have one of those cartoon lumps on my head. You know, it's like
those are awesome.
Oh, those are awesome. It was a great moment, Joe. It was one of those, did I just rip? Did I really fucking? It makes me realize how much of a wimp I am. You see these Vikings people got babies stabbing axe babying other small children inside the head, and I'm bumping my head in the shower.
That's because Phil, you're not a Viking all the time. You only berserk, man. I've seen you in action. Yeah. You're a berserker. You're a nice guy all the time until you just berserk.
Yeah, just look up Frightening Dick Theater on YouTube if you want to see some of that.
And just so you know, it's not just for today. I'm Irish all the time.
Yep.
Big time, fully. Like,
Yep. So yeah, Joe is definitely as one of the people that is celebrating this holiday today. So, and the people in the chat say, I missed The Walking Dead last week, gonna miss it again this week, says Timo. Hey Phil, you were drunk in the shower. Don't lie. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, but he's not drunk now.
Yes, not drunk now. Getting hit in the head kind of centered me really quickly.
And I know it's not an Irish holiday; it's a Catholic holiday, but.
Yeah, we Irish have commandeered
There's a whole side of my family that's that.
It's Irish Week. I saw that somewhere on Facebook, I think.
So before we get into this episode, I do want to say, unlike some of our other recap things, we're not going to go in order of the episode. I kind of want to let's talk about Wessex, then Paris, and then go back and talk about everything that happened in Viking land.
It makes sense. I think we should do that all the time, but for this show,
hard. I would like to do that all the time, but sometimes it's difficult just for note-taking standpoint. It just became kind of easy tonight. So we'll start off in Wessex. So in Wessex, we got a big meeting between all the big powers, continuing on from last week, talking about the future of Mercia. And Ecbert is doing his Ecbert thing in this episode, saying, "Do we need to? We're going to have to invade to get Queen Kwenthrith back on the throne. Warring factions, do you know who this W that screwed with you is?" She explains the situation that the warring factions lead by the first letter of their first name. So the leader of the group that ousted her out of the area is Wigston. He's got royal blood, but he's a warlord.
W's been fucking shit up for a long time.
Yep, he's just been fucking shit up for a long time. And
so, wait, what's his name?
Wigston
and Fairhair. They should get together.
Yeah, they should.
Ooh.
And the fine hair's brothers.
Fine hair.
It's called Halfdan.
Halfton.
Halfton, but it's spelled like Halfdan. Timo says same. It was didn't feel the pain. We're talking some St. Patrick's Day stuff going on in the chat. No St. Patty's Day isn't Irish or Catholic. It's just a drinking day, says Tim.
There you go, Tim.
That's what it is in America.
That's the American version.
Or as some alcoholics like to call it amateur day, when everyone becomes
it's the warm up for Cinco de Mayo.
Yep.
It's all connected.
I just thought of a really tasty food you drink. Anyways, enough alcohol thoughts because I'm going to run into the kitchen. I need to drink. Give me a drink. It's still
good for
See, the thing is you got to drink enough on St. Patty's Day so that you think you're Mexican on Cinco de Mayo.
Okay, so there's a whole big thing: royal blood, warlord, blah blah blah. Don't ever trust this Wigston. Never trust him. Never trust him. And Kwenthrith's making sure that they never talk to him. It's the age-old thing. You don't want the people that you've lied to talk to each other, because then they might figure out that you're just trying to screw with everybody. And she tells both kings, you have to invade Mercia to get me back there. That's the only way to do it. And of course, Aethelwulf says, I agree. Anything she says. She lets me touch her in inappropriate ways. Yes.
She doesn't think my self-flagellation is weird.
Maybe she'll whip me later if I agree with her now.
David wants to know if when I hit my head, if I want to share with everybody what I wrote down about the flux capacitor. Shh, guys, patent pending.
No, unfortunately, Phil his in the bathroom in like the tub and not on the toilet like Doc Brown.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Location.
Yeah, it's everything.
It is. Location is everything in this world.
Brown had the shit knocked out of him. Phil just got a little bit cleaner.
Timo says Applewolf seems whipped already. So does Ragnar when we get to him. Ragnar.
Oh, they're all whooped. They're all
whipped.
The only one that's not whooped is Lagertha.
Nobody.
Lagertha is the only one. Lagertha does the fucking whipping.
No one puts Lagertha in the corner.
No one.
Nobody.
Dude, I love her.
Dude, I like that.
I love the long game.
We'll get to her, but she's simultaneously Baby and Swayze.
She's fucking awesome.
She says to her own parents, "No one puts me in the fucking corner." It fucking gets up there. It does the dance by herself and the lift by. I'm sorry about the dirty dancing, guys. Really sorry. But anyways,
keep it up. Keep it up.
Thank you. So Aethelwulf agrees, and Princess Ailey is like, doesn't look none too happy to the same situation. So continuing on with this whole situation, off to Judith watching Applewolf whip himself before bed, doing his nightly whippings, and then he goes, come to bed. Come to bed. Come to bed, Al. No, I'm not coming to bed. You're just my father's whore. Well, your mistress is the queen. Oh, are you going to go whip yourself 10 more times tonight before
why is she telling him to come to bed anyway?
She told her to come to bed.
Oh, okay. I was a little out of it.
Yeah. So it's just a really funny scene where I don't know. There's something comical to me about the way that the actress that plays Judith is playing some of this season. Just, I'm a whore. I don't know. Just the way she's almost comical to me. But I liked her in this scene, kind of taking charge of her situation.
Yeah.
Well, of course. I mean, she knows people are talking, so she's got two choices: either let them shun her and bully her into a corner, or to stand up and be like, "What the fuck, dude? I'm
enjoying myself.
I'm a fucking princess. Go fuck yourselves."
Welcome to the chat, Eric. Welcome back. And David says, nightly whipping. Sounds like Joe's Friday night. What Joe and I do in our free time's none of your business,
Our business.
David, that's our business.
When we want it to be your business, we'll put the videos on YouTube.
Yep, and we will invite, and we will send your invitation out with a save the date. Save the date for Joe and Phil's whipping. Timo says, every time I see Judith, I want to see her hair or lack thereof.
Yeah, we never get to see a peek of it.
Would you show yours off?
Yes.
I'd be proud.
Hell
I'd be proud. Proud,
Joe. Scars are awesome.
So, but she sets up a very...
Don't you scar yourself, though.
But she sets up a very good situation here, where she says, ultimately, listen, you can hit me if you want to hit me, but we're only married in name. You do what you do, let me do what I do, and just leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, don't pretend like you fucking care so much, asshole.
Don't invite me to bed. What are you doing inviting me to bed? Like we have that kind of relationship. Go whip yourself, fuck your queen, let me do your dad. It's okay. No problem.
Yeah.
Get over it already, Jesus. We haven't fucked each
other
in
Apple Wolf
since applesauce left town.
Yeah, we're running out of. We don't want to run out of another apple. We're running out of apples on this fucking show, and we need to keep Apple Wolf here. Fucking A. So she heads off to the king's room, and she goes in. We had an argument. He called me your whore, which I freely choose to be, which turns into softcore porn here for a second. We had an argument. He called me your whore, which I freely choose to be. What do you want me to leave? And Ecbert goes, here's my dead wife's ring that died.
Apple Wolf's
mom's ring.
No. Okay.
I'm assuming.
Katie. That important point right there, Katie, because this reminded me of one of those con men things. There's a movie or show, I'm blanking on what it is, where somebody gives somebody an important bracelet, and it's like, this bracelet means so much more. This watch is the greatest watch in the world, and I'm gonna give
it. My grandfather wore this watch up his
not that, Joe. Not that. That's funny. But ultimately, and then the con man just pulls out another one right after they give it away because it doesn't really mean anything. Yeah. I got that kind of vibe from him.
Steve Martin and Michael Caine.
In the Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Yes,
that's the one.
Good they do that in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, where it's like, you can keep this. This is my very good thing, and then just puts on another one and does it to another person. That's what it reminded me of with Ecbert. I thought he was just using some bullshit ring. Yes, this was my wife's ring. I'm giving this to you because yes, here, whatever.
Yeah, I was kind of waiting. I got that feeling because he's like sleazy con artisty anyways, and I was kind of waiting to see if there would be a reaction from Apple Wolf.
To be like, wait a second, is that my mom's? Wait a second, is that my mom's ring? Do you have my mom's ring too? That's fucked up now.
Yeah,
it's totally fucked up. So, but anyways, he gives her the rings. People just lure the rings, but it was a shitty knockoff, says Tim. In the house. Great to have David in the house. If you guys haven't already, please check out David's channel, The Walking David. He put out a recent video that I think a lot of our Game of Thrones fans on the channel will enjoy about Cersei. So if you guys get a chance, go over and check out David's channel.
Better go check that shit out right now. Well,
welcome Al, Red Sox fan. Welcome, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Great movie. I love that movie. That's one of my favorite movies. If you haven't seen it, Steve Martin and Michael Caine at some of their best work. Okay, so Ecbert gives the...
I just want to say an aside, parents, you need to expose your kids to these iconic actors and movies. I met 18-year-olds who had no idea who Steve Martin was,
Oh my
or
fucking
Chevy
God.
Chase,
Oh god.
or Martin Short,
Okay.
Three Amigos.
I can understand the Chevy Chase
No
thing
clue.
because might want to block out the later half of Chevy Chase's career. But I hear you with the other two. People should know who these comedians are. I agree with you, Katie.
I kind of like Community. I think he's great in Community.
I think he's great in Community too. I agree. I'm sorry. I'm more thinking of that middle stage with Man of the House and the Chevy Chase show and all that stuff. His later stage, he understood what he was.
Yeah, but Fletch is fucking amazing.
Great.
Fletch Lives is amazing.
Caddyshack. But anyways,
Caddyshack,
not too far of an aside. So Ecbert goes and he gives the dead wife's ring and whatever. So then we see Alia, whatever his name is, and Ecbert talking about Mercia. They decide that they will attack, and that's the simplest plan. And he says, "I appreciate you. You're a man full of convictions." And whatever. And he ends up saying goodbye to everyone. We get a big good goodbye scene with Ailey going back to Northumbria, I believe is where he rules. And he kind of gives one more rag on his daughter by saying, "I don't give a shit about
my warning."
Yeah, women are frail. I don't give a crap about what any of your shit says."
I think he's gonna try to turn on everyone at some point.
Oh yeah.
He is so not into what's going on here.
No, this is all black.
He's got his own agenda, and it all revolves around murdering and getting and stopping Ragnar. He's made that clear when he came back last week.
And now his daughter, this other kid, King Ecbert's in his hit list too for fucking his daughter.
Maybe
Filing the sanctity of his daughter's marriage in his name in return.
I would not doubt it. Well, Sam will make a Walking Dead fan. Oh yeah, we've got some awesome stuff in the chat. Welcome, Bruce. Great to see you, and great to see all of our friends that are joining us here late night on the East Coast on a Thursday evening, talking about some Vikings. So they say goodbye, blah blah blah, and okay. So he leaves. And Kwenthrith comes over to Ecbert and goes, "Listen, are you really going to invade Mercia?" And he goes, "Yeah. Why are you doubting me? I said it in front of everybody. Of course I'm going to do what I say." And she goes, "Listen, don't," she says the age-old saying, basically, "Don't shit a shitter. I can smell your shit a mile away. We're similar. Everything I say is a grain of bullshit added to it. So don't fucking bullshit me. Are you really going to do it?"
Yeah, don't judge yourself too harshly, sweetheart.
Great response to that.
Love it.
We may be the same, but I'm not going to fuck you over this time.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, great response to that. I love that. I might have to use that someday when I'm in an argument with somebody, because that was just so. Don't judge yourself so harshly. I just love it. So then he heads into the floor, and this was a weird scene for me, I can't lie. And with him just kind of praying and saying, Lord, my Lord, I'm a sinner. You cast me out like a fallen angel. I'm a horrible man. I'm not like other men. I would dance with the devil in the pale moonlight if it would let me achieve my motherfucking goals. My kingdom is my world. Lead the way as I burn the hand.
Well, he throws himself on the floor too, all piously and shit, when he first walks in.
Dramatic.
Like right on the floor at the feet of God, humbles himself.
Dramatic.
Yeah.
And then he burns his hand and stuff, and he's like,
"Yep,
motherfucker." And then
Ecbert's gonna come down with some shit. He smells the bad shit from King Ailey
and Queen Crazy Pants. He just knows for a whole bunch of shit. And we learn more about where Aethelwulf gets his masochistic side. Yeah. Dad, like father, like son, likes to.
Yes.
Oh man, who doesn't like to hurt themselves?
A lot of people don't.
Oh, they hurt
a lot of people don't. You're saying they're just all in denial. They just
everybody loves it.
They haven't been put in your dungeon yet. Is what you're. They
just come in reluctant, but they leave willing. Wait,
Obedient.
Never mind. Obedient. That's
yeah.
So he says, "Thank you, my lord. I'm not like other men, and yet I would sup with the devil if it would help me achieve my goals. My kingdom is this world. I must lead my way." Then he burns the fuck out of his hand and he puts out a candle. And that is everything that we get in Wessex tonight. So let's proceed over to Paris before we get into the Viking section of the episode. Paris, we get Odo and Rollo walking around Paris, setting up for the Viking assault whenever it actually happens. Rollo seems
talking about their Game of Thrones chain. The battle for the Blackwater River.
Mm-hmm.
And the battle for the Blackwater
River. I mean, the Blackwater Paris River. Whatever the fuck it is.
So they're setting up their plan, and they seem to be getting along. I think Rollo seems to have some sort of respect and liking for Odo, and respects him as a fellow warrior and whatever. So then we cut over to the Rollo and the princess who are talking, and it's basically her convincing him that she needs to backstab Odo, and he goes, that's not a good thing to do. I don't like to backstab people. And she goes, that's a Viking thing not to backstab. Here in Franca, we backstab everybody. So you need to learn how to play the Game of Thrones.
Wait. Rollo doesn't like to backstab anyone.
Go, Katie.
And come on, what the fuck? And that's a Viking thing? I don't know. Lagertha, it may not have been a backstab, but it was close enough.
Well, no, she looked him in the eye.
Yeah, but it's still a sucker punch there.
Yes.
That's a backstab. Is a sucker punch.
And what he did to the village of the people and all that is kind of.
Yeah, Rollo's a scumbag. He'll do anything. Fuck him.
Didn't he actually stab his brother in the back at some point?
Probably.
Yeah, he tried to overthrow his brother
I could
too.
Be wrong. Well, yes, but I'm saying he took a knife and put it in his brother's back. I could be wrong, but I have this picture in my head.
We started watching season 1 over again yesterday. We watched 7 episodes.
If he didn't, Katie, he would have.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah. Okay, Rollo.
Sure, Rollo. Take the high road here in this situation. Whatever. And
what the fuck? Trying to look all noble and shit in front of his wife. Fuck that, you Viking. Go fucking axe a baby in the head.
Nope, that's now for the next generation.
Yeah, right.
Ivar.
So then we go off to a really excellent set piece. I have to say, no matter how many times I see the Paris set, it's really impressive what they put together for that. It's really beautiful and really expansive, and it's really cool. Even though lavish, even though this scene kind of made me giggle in, I think, a way it wasn't supposed to make me giggle.
Well, it shows the wealth difference between Wessex and Paris. There's a big wealth difference right now in those two regions. France, Paris is much wealthier at this time. So,
and they have a big church presence,
right? And it's highlighted also by everybody wanting to go back there. And England is the old shit, and they've already kind of raided there and been raiding there, and Paris is where the wealth is. They gave up all this shit kind of freely, and what else is there if they gave up that much?
Oh yeah, gotta go continental now.
Critch says, act of love on Lagertha's part. The dick drop was just the foreplay earlier.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. But okay, so in this scene, the Emperor wants some guy wants a private audience, and he's the dude that we met earlier in the season that was sent his sister to be whipped and 50 Shades of Grey by Odo over there. So Odo's subordinate, and he says to the Emperor, don't trust Odo. And the Emperor at first is kind of stumbling. He goes, of course I trust him. Well, why shouldn't I trust him? Do you mean he has ambition behind my back? Does he want the Emperor's crown? Yes, of course he wants the Emperor's crown. You can't just tell me this. You need proof. Well, we have word of his mistress because, as you know, Emperor, mistress, a person always tells their lies to their mistress. What the fuck? People tell their lies to their mistress? That's a thing? You're supposed to tell all your secrets, like that you want to overthrow the Emperor? That's what you tell some person that you're...
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you can always trust the
your
mistress.
Culprit.
Yeah, you could always trust some random person that you're having sex with. No.
Well, that's not. No. A mistress isn't like a one night. Isn't like I cheated on my wife.
I know it's
no. It's
like you're sharing something like.
Dating?
Well, yeah, and you're more than just a fling. You're both doing something wrong already because it's a mistress. It's not just a girlfriend. It's you're cheating or she's cheating or you're both cheating.
It's
so you're already sharing
on many levels.
Right. You're already sharing that depth of darkness in your soul. So you feel like you can share more bad shit with
Yeah,
this
you
person.
can trust this person. Totally.
Like, you're already trusting them to keep this secret. You can trust them to keep others too, right? Pillow
Yeah.
talk.
Now, I was
Notorious in warfare is pillow talk. Yet, like we talked
fair
about
enough.
in Game of Thrones, you send the prostitutes into the rebel base and get them to come back and tell you shit.
I was confused. I thought Odo's mistress and that kid there were lovers, not brother.
Oh,
and
not
sister.
brother and sister. Well, as we know,
Yeah, they said like, did they?
Yeah,
did
they
we
fucked.
see them have sex?
We saw them fuck,
Okay,
or at least get close enough to fuck, and it was implied they fucked.
they're intimate.
They're intimate.
Considering all the-
Cersei and Jaime.
Oh, okay.
yeah, they may be a little Lannisters. That might be their last name, but who knows? So, but I found this whole scene kind of, I don't know, it was just funny, and the Emperor is such a weaselly, whiny coward that it almost is, and I mean this in the best possible way, hard to watch this guy because
Yes.
fucking. Oh, you fucking stupid motherfucker! I just want to
Plays
slap
it very Hamlet-y.
Yeah, over the toppy, very the kingdom. Oh,
Like, or Macbethy or some shit. Like, I don't know, like he's going crazy, but
Macbethy is probably a little bit better,
Yes.
like Lady Macbethy. Yeah,
there you go.
He even like he's bent over, even
He's
physically.
very Shakespearean
he is
in his,
really
like,
embracing this pathology.
Yeah, the heavy is the head that wears the crown. Arkham's or whatever, sort of whoever above his head.
sort of mascules, as you said last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arkham's razor means the simplest.
Yeah. That's not
what the case.
Yeah, that's not the one I meant.
Arkham Asylum's razor.
There it is.
Sorry. Okay, so the word of
blades on my head that it's like there's fucking Kingslayer and Ice and all that shit.
So, anyways, he ends up calling the mistress to him. He goes, bring this girl to me. And the Emperor's like, why should I trust you? Because she's my sister. Well, she's your sister, so okay, I should trust her, but whatever. And he says, is it true that Count Odo has speak freely of his ambition to replace me, to be the Emperor? And her response is so robotic. Yes, exactly. He wants to be the Emperor.
I love how she starts to walk towards him at that moment, and he matches her steps backwards. Don't you fucking approach. Who the fuck are you? Get away from me, woman, you dirty little dirty.
Timo says, I agree, Phil. I hate that guy too. I sorry, but he's fucking annoying. And Tim, Joe brings up the one not great thing about Cersei.
Oh, please, Tim, like you wouldn't love it if Cersei was your sister.
The one.
The one.
The one. I love you, Tim. So if Odo he speaks freely now, and the king goes, or excuse me, the Emperor says, he stumbles, goes, now report everything to me that he does, and get out of here because I need to cry. And then he starts crying, and then he gives a weird sort of crazy smile at the end of all the crying.
Yeah.
He's got some issues.
I don't like that guy.
Bruce.
I love him.
I think we did have an incest scene. We just didn't know it was incest scene. I think it was either towards the end of last season or at the beginning of this season. We definitely have those two getting together after she has a session with Odo.
In some way being inappropriately intimate.
Yes.
For siblings.
Yes.
I can't specifically pinpoint a scene. I just feel like we've seen them.
Yeah, knowing that they're siblings now, the scene seems inappropriate as far as how you would behave with your sibling, but the scene seemed very appropriate for two people who were fucking and conniving for their own benefit around Count Odo and the king and all that shit to increase their own power. So now you see where their relationship actually is. It's and why should I trust this woman? Because she's not only my sister, but I'm also a client.
Oh my goodness! And now, and Tim correct, it's Occam's razor. Occam's razor.
Yeah. I said that.
You did say that, Katie.
I
heard
you. Okay, so let's get into our Viking part of the story. So we open up to a relative of Katie Crow hanging on top of a eyesight of a crossbow.
That was her cousin. That was one of Odin's ravens.
And it is Horrocks' little douchebag of a son, and he's aiming and he shoots to show off his aim. And then it's a whole big celebration with Lagertha kind of training the troops and stuff. And then we get him and Kalf talking about the Berserker and saying, well, listen, and now I have eyes in Bjorn's house. It doesn't matter if he failed. We have eyes in there with Torvi, and she's going to be a rat for me because she knows if she doesn't rat to me, I'll kill her fucking son. Or kill her kid. So she's going to listen.
I can't wait for Lagertha to kill him.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh, Tim says, yep, Katie said that. So no, actually, it's not. It would be a shut the fuck up, Phil, but because I don't have that right now.
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
Phil. Thank you, Katie. So, Critch says back to the Paris one more second. The emperor was notoriously weak, and his two brother emperors were constantly poaching his borders in real life. Bruce says, then we all need to be like Game of Thrones' dragons. That would make a funny commercial, Joe. Yes, Katie said that. Tim Gersh is in the house. So Kalf says, don't tell Lagertha about any of this. Don't tell her that I want to kill her son. Silly. Don't do that because, that would be bad.
Yeah, right? Like, who the fuck's going to tell her, you fucking moron? And why did you give her your fucking uncle's ring, you fucking dink?
So Dinkberger decides to kind of be the most obvious idiot liar in the planet and be like, we should kill Bjorn. We should totally kill Bjorn. And Lagertha's like watching, and she walks over. What are you guys talking about? And he goes, oh, nothing. We're talking about how happy this dude is that his wife left.
No, he's gonna forgive
Bjorn. Forgive Bjorn and forgive. Yeah, come on. Shut up.
He's a nice guy like that.
He's a nice guy. Horrocks' son
Wow, he constantly surprises me.
He's such a great guy. He's such a great dude.
And now I have a surprise for you.
Have a good night, Sam. Hopefully you feel better tomorrow. Get some sleep. And happy for 7 more minutes. Happy St. Patrick's Day here in the on the East Coast.
Sam Squee.
Happy Irish Week.
No, different people, Joe. So then,
okay.
Then we get Bjorn and Ragnar talking about Harold Finehair, and neither of them trust him. And Ragnar asks Bjorn, "Why don't you care about your daughter? And why don't you give a shit about? And how could you take a woman away from her kids? Why are you such an asshole?" And Bjorn says, well, you tried to take me. And Ragnar's like, no, your mother left. And you chose to go with her. Don't you forget. Joe and Katie are watching season 1. They can call you on your bullshit, Ragnar.
Yeah. I loved this interaction, this scene. It was just so, like, I could relate. Sitting there shooting the shit with your parent and getting a little deep and touching nerves, but then coming back from that.
It was one of the...
I kind of think Ragnar was right. I didn't leave you.
Well, it's a matter of perspective.
It's a perspective. People all the time. We wanted to fuck applesauce together.
Yeah, but she didn't want a second wife.
Especially showing up in town.
With a baby. That she wasn't giving Ragnar already. After she had lost her baby.
And Katie, to your point, I really do feel like this was one of the best moments of Ragnar being an actual father.
Yes.
It really did seem to show that. And Ragnar says, it's hard being a husband. And maybe I failed at that. And he goes, father. I definitely failed at being a husband.
Definitely. Giggle moment.
And I like... Oh, sorry.
No, go, Katie.
When he said his piece about you left and, it wasn't me that abandoned you, he seemed genuinely hurt. And that was it was good to see, because even if Bjorn doesn't agree, he can see that his father was hurt by the situation.
Very true. And in a show that we don't often see reactions to things that happen, to see a reaction from stuff that happened so long ago in season 1 period, to see that being reflected at right now in the show is really cool to see. Especially for this show, because I always talk about how I don't like how we don't get closure on stories, or seeing how people react to this, and seeing Ragnar actually make mention of this and call Bjorn out, because I agree with Joe. I'm on Ragnar's side in the situation when he's calling him out. And I think he's actually trying to be trying to be a father in this.
Well, the thing is too is he directly contradicts himself, because he's like, it's a horrible thing when you take a boy away from his mother or a kid away from its mother, and then he says, but and so Bjorn's like, well, you wanted to do that to me. You wanted to do that to me, and then Ragnar's like, yeah, but you left me. Like, well, what's good? You want to do a horrible thing to me, or do you want me to do a horrible thing to you?
So we relate from here. It was a really good moment. I agree.
Yes.
Whatever you want to analyze this or look at.
I do. You could look at it so much.
So much. And I feel like it's one of the best scenes that him and Bjorn have had.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I feel
liking
like
Bjorn more and more.
Me too.
And
Me too.
this amped it up a little more for me.
Me too. And I think to hint at what Bruce is kind of asking, and Timo also said that's good for Ragnar. Finally said he was hurt about that. We never got to see how he really felt. But Bruce says the thing about Ragnar surviving this season. I'm not sure if, just for the record, and we do have to say it right here, Vikings has been confirmed for season 5 for another 20 episodes. So now we have another 15 episodes of this season and then another 20 episodes of Vikings. So it's almost like 4 seasons and 2 seasons considering what we had in the past. So we're getting a lot more Vikings that's happening. So is it all going to be without Ragnar?
No.
I don't know.
Nope.
Okay.
Next season's the season they do it.
I say it's next season too. I say he survives this season and dies next season.
Because they do time jumps so frequently in this, like years, weeks, months, all this shit. So
he did say an important line in this he used this Murtaugh rule in this episode where he said, I'm getting too old for this shit. I feel like I'm getting old for this shit. So there's only so many Lethal Weapon movies that Danny Glover can do before he's really too old for this shit.
Yep.
So I think it's important that he did say that I'm getting old soon. But if I'm a betting man, which I am slightly, I would say that it would be somewhere in the middle of next season where Ragnar dies.
Yeah, I think he might have some kids with Yidu.
Yidu.
Especially now that we know she's the daughter of the emperor.
And we know he's got a third wife, so...
And I guess my point for bringing that up, to transition to that from what you said, Joe, is that Bjorn, I feel like the show is showing us what it would be like with more of Bjorn focus of the program, and leading into what we saw with Ivar today in this episode too, and we're going to get to that. I think are in what we see Ragnar's other son too, the smart one that we see cracked Floki, and we get his point of view a lot in the big Viking scenes. I think the show is telling us in a subtle way or in a not so subtle way that these are our future of this show. We believe the children are the future, Phil. Or just through history, again, to look at the historical accounts of where the Vikings went, and his sons were so much more of historical facts are known about his sons than are about him. So they're you can see how the show is going to get to them and probably do all of their storylines too, which is going to be very interesting. So
I'm really liking the Aslog's eldest kid. He is fascinating.
Yeah, he's a watcher. He's absorbing it all.
He's the smartest one, even though they're setting up where they're trying to
Floki, man. He tracked him, not those old people. He did it.
He and his dogs.
And
his bags.
He's a bad motherfucker.
He's a bad motherfucker. He's twice the man Bjorn was at that age. That's
he reminds me of Ragnar. Bjorn was sensitive, which is not a bad thing.
Jealous of his slave applesauce.
It was different.
Oh, poor applesauce. So Ragnar says it's hard being a husband. So Bjorn, he watches Bjorn go because Ragnar can't. Ragnar is all high on whatever the drug was, and he seems to have those kind of reflective effects through this whole episode and being in a trance of some sort, probably put on by Aslog convincing this girl to go manipulate Ragnar. I don't know. So Firehair could take shit over. I don't know. I'm doing conspiracy theory here, but so Bjorn goes and engages Harold and asks, and they start talking about how many men does he have that are coming here? 600 men. They're on our way. My brother is on his way here. My brother, you're gonna like him, or no? He goes. Bjorn asks him, "Is your brother like you?" And he goes, "My brother is much worse.
Much worse." He didn't seem much worse.
No, he didn't.
So then we go.
Maybe he's a berserker too.
Berserker. Excuse me. Then we go off to the rag shack where him and Yidu are eating and staring at each other. And she has her hair back, looking like she did when she was younger. And he asks if she looked like this before. She says, well, almost. It was just a little bit longer. And then he starts asking her questions about where she's from, what's the name of the place. She's from China. It's the Dizong. Dizong is the emperor of the Tang dynasty. He wants to know about her dad. She says her dad's a merchant, well-respected, rich enough. And he goes, tell me about the emperor. And she says the emperor has many daughters with many wives, concubines, and they were all looked at by these eunuchs. What are eunuchs? Men with their dicks cut off.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
His face.
Yeah,
I
neither do
loved
they,
his
Phil.
reaction to that.
Neither do they.
It was great.
Katie, I could, Joe too. Those two lines just had me smiling so much. This is one of those things that Travis Fimmel plays so excellently, like throwing in those moments of comedy. So like it's not, I wouldn't even say it's subtle, but it's just the way he transitions with his sound effects and his tut and his. I would not like that. I would not like penis soft. No. Ragnar's getting addicted to crystal meth, says Bruce. My.
Joe's mom actually, I believe, figured out or knew, because she's that smart.
Ooh.
That what this was that they were probably eating. I can't remember the name of it though. But it's an old Chinese thing that was actually very popular. Ooh. And the explanation of it sounded very much like what she was doing, Yidu.
Mm.
And it's said to have an effect much like
magic mushroomsy.
Well, essentially speed.
Beetle
it
nut?
didn't say anything.
So
maybe betel nut. Beetle nut.
Betel nut.
So maybe Bruce is onto something by saying Ragnar's getting addicted to a version of crystal meth.
Yeah, it's. I think there was that in it. I think there was some mushroom in it. I think she put a bunch of like shit in there, but betel nut was what was making them all speedy and shit.
Interesting. Okay.
And it's akin to coffee, but if you don't drink coffee and you have like 3 cups worth or 4 cups worth, in pill form, you're going to be like,
yeah. But I mean, and it has different effects on everyone. And I imagine she may have been getting to know the local flora too. So she may be adding a little local flavor into that packet.
Right. And if we go somewhat by my conspiracy theory, she also has Aslog to introduce her things to be able to get Ragnar manipulated on this shit. So she says, the men, they get their dicks cut off. I don't like the Ragnar with the smile, as Joe and Katie are putting out. Great stuff. I do not like that. They do not like that either. Then they laugh, and he goes in for the touch and asks her, listen, are you the emperor's daughter? Because this is a small, small world. And she says, my father was a merchant. And
I got the feeling like maybe because of her knowledge of these, herbs, and maybe he was a opium merchant.
Ooh, possibly. And huge shout out to Ethan. Welcome, Ethan. You fucking rock, buddy. Huge shout out to you, buddy. And she says, my father's a merchant, told me before. And Ragnar says, I have terrible secrets, and I want to tell you all my terrible secrets. Do you want to hear? When someone asks you if you're God, you say yes. And she says, yes, but I have strong shoulders, and I'm not afraid. I can help. He says, I'll tell you the truth when you tell me about your dad. And by the way, give me some more drugs. And then he just goes over, starts chopping up the drugs, and she gives. This is one of those moments where I fed into my conspiracy theory. She gives a very controlling look, like I got him.
Little smile,
right where I want him.
Yes, absolutely. That's definitely what her expression.
Tim wants to know how eunuchs pee. I have an answer, Tim. Very carefully. Very carefully.
What are their penis? Eunuchs have their balls removed, not their penises.
Well, and even if the penis is removed, there is still that tube there.
Right, that's true.
Joe, someone named some have from root to stem removed.
Yes.
So some eunuchs. Some eunuch's named Varys, I believe, has root to stem chopped off, and then something made a noise. Okay, so he says, I'll tell you the truth. Tell me about your dad. Give me more drugs. And then he goes and chops off his shit as she gives him a controlling look. Then we get, I think, probably the moment where Joe starts to get a little bit excited all over his body. He gets, Bruce says, root to stem.
All over his body.
Bruce says, Ragnar was so high, I'm surprised he didn't order a pizza. He's like, God, does Domino's deliver? Does Domino's deliver to Kattegat? I guess I can order on my phone now. I got the Domino's app right here. Order. So then we get the moment where Joe starts tingling all over, I bet, because we get the Viking ships heading into Kattegat.
Oh, the 20 Viking ships with 600 soldiers. That's going to make anybody nervous. You know, you got to start thinking to yourself, well, we only have 800 here or 900 here or some shit. You know? Like,
yeah, we start.
You know, in Lagertha's couple hundred, I haven't even gotten here yet. Fuck.
Yeah, they're busy preparing for a wedding. Oh,
yeah, we're gonna get to that in a second. So,
like King Hork's troops showed up and they tried to take over Kattegat, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And this dude has already said he wants to be the king of Norway. So.
Of Norway.
Yeah.
So the Harold Finehair guys, ships arrive. He greets his brother. They all greet. They do the Viking intros. This is Kattegat. Can you believe we're in Hollywood? Can you believe we're walking down the street on the Walk of Fame right here? We are in the middle of Kattegat. This is fucking amazing.
Tourists.
So as we go over to Ragnar, who's doing target practice, looks really old in this episode. They really made him look old and chubby and fat and out of shape, and like he really lost the eye of the tiger here as he's trying to break some targets with his axe, and he can barely throw the axe to break the targets when he's throwing it with all of his might. And they're like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" Or the two Finehair brothers show up and they're like, "Hey, can we go kill some Christians in the name of Odin?" And Ragnar's like, "I guess you can kill some Christians," as he's
soon enough. I think he was pissed, but I think you know, in the middle of the shield is that metal knot. I think he hit that. I think his aim was dead on perfect, and I think he was throwing hard enough to break the shield.
I want to point out that later he mentions very specifically that he feels like he's lost his strength. So I think that was the conclusion of that. He goes, "I feel old and I've lost my strength." Yeah. So I that's where I connected those dots. I see what you're saying, Joe. He was hitting the target, but I feel like he wasn't being able to break it in the way that he wanted to be able to break it. He felt weak in that moment. He felt like Rocky looking at Kleber Lang in Rocky 3 when he sees Mr. Tika and he's like, "Oh, I just lost the eye of the tiger. I can't beat this guy. I can't do this again. This guy's stronger than me. He wants it more. He's got more hungry men. I'm nothing." At least that's how I read that situation.
Perspective.
So then we get the knife trick, or with someone doing the knife trick, and
aliens. What was the robot's name? The android's name?
Oh yeah,
Bishop. The Bishop knife trick.
Bishop knife trick. I go to Android. I say Data, and Bruce says maybe Ragnar needs some Viking Viagra. Timo says love seeing the Viking ship. Can't wait to see the Vikings fight. Damn it. And then we get the knife trick. We see Ragnar's smart son, the one we were remarking about earlier, walking around as he always looks like he's analyzing a situation, like he's looking at it and has bad spider sense or something as he's walking around. And we see Yidu and Ragnar watching from above. And she goes, "Are they going to wonder where you are?" And he goes, "I doubt it." She is all in his shit, and she's making him weak with all the drugs. He's sitting there thinking about Paris. She goes, "Are you excited to go back?" He says, "No, I feel old. When I was young, I had a passion to win. With age and all that comes, I've lost the desire and the strength." He says, "A few years ago, I set up a settlement." This is the question I have to ask you guys and the chat and you, Katie and Joe. Is he talking about the Wessex settlement?
Yes.
That's exactly what he's talking about.
He's not talking about the Paris settlement. He's talking about the Wessex one, right?
Correct.
Okay. So Vika Agra.
Viking Agra.
Viking Agra. Oh my goodness. I love you. You guys are fucking cracking me up as always in the motherfucking issues chat. Timo, Bruce, Tim, Timo, Ethan, Critch. Thank you. All of our friends that are jumping in the chat.
What and Ethan Brewster. I'm not sure what that means. I failed 6 times on der Eichendrach Easter egg cod zombies, Joe.
Interesting. Interesting. So here we go. He says, "A few years ago, I set up a settlement. When I left, it was burned and destroyed. I feel guilty, and no one knows they're all dead." Yeah. And then she quickly shifts it over. "My dad's the emperor." He looks like he's going to go in for a kiss, but he doesn't. As we flash over to Finehair looking at Bjorn, he's talking to his brother about the bear story. He left a boy, came back a man. This part, the music stops in the party as Floki enters. And it's silence as him and Helga walk in. The brothers say, Floki, sit down. We've heard of you. You're the guy that built the ship and made Ragnar
changed our world.
Why the fuck would Ragnar fall out of line with you? And Floki doesn't give two fucks a shit. He just goes, because I killed his pet Christian. As Helga just goes, what the shit did you just say? Shut up. And then he just goes, fuck you, get me more booze. Let's drink. Oh, fucking love it.
The new friendships.
And Ethan says Call of Duty Zombies, Joe. And Bruce says Ragnar doesn't fuck with her. He just plays with her, so maybe he can get it up. Critch says Ragnar's always watching and listening and plotting. I don't think Fine Hair Brothers are going to win. Why doesn't anyone know farmers died by now? Wants Lagertha to go back. Yeah, why doesn't Lagertha go back and check on her settlement or anything like that?
Yeah, if Ragnar knows, other people have had to come back and say something.
Politics.
Mm-hmm. Floki is great, Tim says. Yeah, Floki was great in the scene. Like, the character Floki, I want to slap the shit out of him. But the way the actor plays this and him going in there, he plays it.
Skarsgård.
That was one of my favorite Floki moments in all the series, just from an acting standpoint. The way he just got
talented.
I don't give a... Who else is in his family, Joe?
Okay, the professor or the scientist professor guy from the
Have
Thor
a good
movies.
Night, Ethan. The movies?
The Thor movies, the old guy that's
the old guy? Oh, okay.
The guy that's the scientist.
Yeah.
Also, from True Blood, Eric, the vampire Eric.
Nothing to me, but yeah, I understand.
He's also from was it like Raw Dogs or something like that, or
something like a movie. I don't care.
But he's done a bunch of stuff, and then there's another one too. There's three brothers, and the old guy's the father.
Oh, awesome!
And I forget who the third brother is, but he's been doing work too, and he's the one I know least about.
But
talented family.
Yeah, talented nepotism family. I love it. Love that.
He used to do stuff too, I think, but I don't remember. I don't know anything.
Okay, Floki's maybe a very powerful soothsayer. I don't know why I wanted to say that in a Star Wars way. Floki a soothsayer, you see. Soothsayer Floki, you see. So
a soothsayer, Floki B.
Oh my gosh. Walking David says, driving home. You guys are keeping me awake. Thank you, Walking David. Great to keep you awake. My little brother is on Netflix, Hemlock Grove. Oh, wow. Oh, the little brother is on Netflix's Hemlock Grove. Critch says, question is Floki running a game for Ragnar like the last time?
No.
Katie says no. Joe? Do you think he's working for... Do you think any part of what he's doing is for Ragnar in this situation? Or is
here's the thing. If Ragnar still had... It's not a secret now, apparently, at this point, that Floki's watching the kid. They're out in public, for Christ's sakes. So I gotta say that maybe. Maybe
we're doing another spoiler alert, Sons of Anarchy season 4 or season 3 finale or something. When we think one thing and it turns around the other side, it's a Floki is gonna play that card again for us.
Listen, I mean, you gotta remember that.
I'm with you, Katie.
As pissed as he was at him, he didn't want to kill. You killed my Christian friend. But there was no part of Ragnar that wanted to kill Floki for it. There was no part of Ragnar that... The only reason why he ended up as pissed as he was because fucking Bjorn opened his fucking mouth and told everybody what happened. He wished he could have just kept it between him and Floki, and I don't think we would be seeing as big a rift between them in town or amongst everybody. But since that's the case, and since everybody knows about it, why not play it? And why not use it to fool us too?
Yeah, I mean, valid, very valid. I just think that Floki thinks Ragnar is too poisoned at this point. He thinks he's doing a good thing for Ragnar by betraying him and maybe eventually bringing him to his death.
Good question, Critch. And let's see what people in the chat say. Tim says, good old Floki, you always make me smile. Timo says, but this time Floki might fall through. To go to your point, Joe, and why I think you might be correct too, in the sense that, or just once they get to Paris, which we've seen the preview for in the scene of next week, and I don't want to get too much into that, I think Ragnar and Floki are going to share a common enemy in their hatred for what's going on with Rollo. I think that's going to soothe a lot of wounds because they're going to realize who the real enemy is.
I was just about to bring that up. Let's remember that in season 1, the Earl goes to Rollo and says, listen, I want you to tell everybody that Ragnar lied about Lagertha getting raped there and killing my cousin. and Rollo doesn't do it. And then later Rollo tries to fuck over Ragnar, and Ragnar forgives him, and now Rollo's doing it again earlier. And so like we already have that repeating theme. Is everybody going to betray Ragnar all at once again, or can we? And if you remember, also Floki is adamant in the fact that he did not do this out of jealousy. He did this because the gods told him to save Ragnar, to save his best friend. He did this out of love for his best friend. Like that's truly what Floki believes, and maybe that's what the seers told him, and that's kind of like I feel like that's kind of a thing for Floki. So I do not think he'll betray Ragnar. I think he's on Ragnar's side till the bitter fucking end. He has reached his fame, and he has reached Valhalla because of Ragnar's vision. Because Floki was able to build the boat that changed their fucking world. There's no way Floki doesn't get in to Valhalla to participate in Ragnarok.
And I do to participate in Ragnarok. I just want to jump in for Critch's quick comment. Also, Floki is sure to have visions, and his loyalty may be to those visions.
Yep. Like
well, his interpretation of what the gods want.
Correct.
Yep.
And so I really feel like, you know, and Ragnar had every reason or right to kill him and in the cave there. Let him go, spared his life, helped his wife bury his daughter, like was still a great friend to Floki, even though he had him punished in the cave. You know what? Still doing like good friend stuff for his best friend.
Nothing but love for Floki. I ain't mad at you. Got nothing.
I mean, you gotta like, yeah, he may be mad at him for that, but you know, Vikings are kind of fucked up in what they're mad at and what they don't get mad at.
Oh no, I have nothing but love for Floki. So okay, so Floki, he says, "You're the genius that built the boats." He toasts, yells, "Tell Gil to shut the fuck up." So then we go over to Bjorn, who says, "You have such ambition, you want it all." Bjorn and Finehair are talking. He says, "You want ambition, but don't we all want fame?" Or he says, "I want fame," and Bjorn says, "Well, if you get fame, you'll just be more famous king of your small little kingdom. It won't make your kingdom bigger." And
down. He calls him little finger.
Bjorn.
He goes, "Yeah, you'll still be a lowly. Your house might get recognized, but you'll still be a common board. Your house will never be one of the big houses." Yeah, he gives him one of those ones. Like you may be, but you'll never be from Kattegat, bitch.
Yeah, your kingdom may get bigger, but your penis will still be small.
But Finehair nods like these dudes don't know what the don't know what the fuck. We're hungry.
No, Kattegat, man. These boys, these children, man.
Oh no, they're dead. They're dead by the end of this. The Finehair brothers are fucking getting their heads chopped the fuck off. But this is one of
trouble.
Just for the record, and I want to say it right away. Just for the record, historically, I don't know what the historical account of these people. These might be the people that kill Ragnar Lothbrok historically, even though I do know what the rumors are about his demise. But that part of the history, I don't know. So I could be completely talking out of my ass. Someone that knows the history is like, no, actually they live and they do this, that, and another thing. That might be true. So again, the history might totally contradict my TV mannerisms of saying those guys are fucking dead by the end of the season. So yeah, in real life might bump into me. Scoreboard might bump into me in this situation. Phil, scoreboard, real life motherfucker.
Yeah, that's just it. If anybody really wants this, like the spoilers to this whole story or stories and
go to the live
periods, it's well documented in
history.
In history,
as much as
it can be. So you can look all this stuff up and find out who these people are and what periods they lived at and try to piece it together the best you can after the historians have tried.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Check out History Buffs on YouTube, his Viking video that he did about the historical accuracy of Vikings. It's a really cool video, and you can learn a lot more about how you can find some of the factual situations. So remember, the show is not TV. Floki is lucky as hell. He's still whole. that he still has his stem and root, says Bruce. Timo says, I think I heard somewhere that the fine-haired guy outlives Ragnar. Not sure. Much of history. Ragnar lost his mojo. Time for him to be overthrown. So, okay, so Bjorn and Ragnar are talking, and he's playing with his hair, because he has very fine hair. And he goes, you don't trust me. You trust me, no reason. He goes, I've never given you a cause to kill me. And then they eye fuck for a while. But now we're going to be allies. We shall work together. We shall go to Paris, fight together. You need my ships and my fighters. I can't wait to get to Paris. Let's destroy some Christian folks. We are the masters. We are the masters. We are the masters. Eye of the tiger stuff. So then we get into our next scene. That is bath time for Yidu, and Ragnar is bathing her, washing her legs slowly, showing us that Ragnar is a foot worship guy.
Also, like Rollo.
And she was like, what is it with people and feet? And
I'm like, just the show.
This show, right, because there was the Rollo foot
I do have to make clear, though, before we talk about this, though, that last week I thought was goofy in that scene. This scene I thought was very hot.
Yeah, and they're clean.
And not gnarled and... But feet are sensitive. They make your whole body, your feet tickle. It makes your whole body feel something. It can be done for some people very pleasantly. Little foot worship and not worship maybe, but
I'd rather get punched in the gut than have someone do that to my feet.
I like my options.
So he goes for the foot play, and then he pushes his hand down in uncharted waters, and the shot lingers. The shot lingers to the point to see her truly enjoy herself from beginning to end. As then he starts dripping the water from his hand on her face afterwards, and she bites his finger. This was I was like,
yeah, wow, woo! History Channel.
Yeah,
wow.
Ragnar likes it rough, and she's had to have read that by now.
And just for your sports fans, this was Rex Ryan's favorite scene of Vikings. Thank you, Al, Red Sox fan. Yes. Someone says, yes, so Joe wins everywhere. Ragnar does it better than Rollo, says Timo. Yeah, Ragnar.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness.
Ragnar was a sensitive. Oh my goodness. Okay, so then the worship continues as he moves to her hair, and then he gets out a knife and kind of gives her a little across the neck, and then he's
good call, Bruce. Sorry, Phil.
What's Bruce say?
At least you washed her feet. How symbolic a king washes his ex-slaves' feet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good comment. Great
big.
Kind of Christian.
Yeah.
So then he moves to her hair. He takes he cuts the blade off her hair, and then he finally kisses her. And I just put, wow, what a lead up to that kiss, and to the sensibilities of nowadays, and seeing that kiss come in was just, to me, that was one of those scenes that just had me, ooh, I'm not.
Yeah, no, they've been he's been building the anticipation with that stuff for a while now, and they did a very good job with that.
Hell yeah,
they did a really good job. Except, yeah, he cut her hair, which was
her hair used to be shorter.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a super cuts, but yeah, sure. Maybe he'll style it.
It was a hair cuttery.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe
the whole thing was a little kind of.
It was good.
I wanted more booby. I wonder if the Europeans got booby.
Yeah, you gotta wonder about the
You gotta. I gotta. Every time
European
they have these
version.
scenes,
but I think in this scene you don't need it. It was very pretty. It was very beautifully done, and it was erotic, and they used anticipation and the imagination a lot.
We may have lost Phil. I don't know. Are we lost, or is Phil lost?
I don't know.
Huh.
I feel
probably us. The chat's not moving anymore either.
No. Oh no, that's not cool. I don't want to be lost. Hello.
Nope, I think Phil's lost.
Phil's lost. Oh.
Phil is lost. We lost Phil.
That's
Phil, come
a strange
back.
one. Usually it's us.
Oh no. I don't know what to do.
Our evil plan has worked.
Okay, so Phil's probably going to try to call me back in a couple of seconds and start a new stream.
I hope
don't
so,
know what
he
happened.
has the timeline and the notes for
I know. I don't know what happens next.
We can go through it still. I know what happened. it was good stuff. But
yeah, I'm lost without Phil.
I
don't do
like
notes.
to be in control.
I let Phil run the notes.
I'm scared.
Phil runs the notes, and I comment on the shit Phil talks about. My hacking job is complete. It's mine. Oh no.
Well, so we finished with the bathtub scene. Do you remember where it went next?
No, I really honestly did it go to the Great Hall? Oh no, we already had that scene. We had the rooftop scene. We had the big great sex scene. I think next is what
the great sex scene.
Yeah, the bathtub sex.
Mm-hmm. There's the ring scene. The Bjorn and Torva.
Yep.
They had that. I don't know if that's the very next scene, but that was very important.
Yeah,
it was really
Bjorn's
good.
sitting at the table. He's trying to look at the map and where he found this guy and where the ring could possibly come from. He's trying to figure this out. And when he's doing that, his new girlfriend walks in, which is the King Hork's son's ex.
Hork Jr.
Hork Jr.'s ex, and
baby douchebag.
Yep. And he kind of like scrambles it all away, and she asks about the ring. And he says, "Oh, I took, where'd you get that?" He says, "I took it off of somebody." And then she says, "We got to talk. You got to start opening up more. We're not. This is, I feel so connected and so close to you, but you don't open up enough, Bjorn.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of locked off here. You took me away from my son.
Mm-hmm.
You squirreled me away. Now what? What's going on?"
Yeah, is it all worth it? Do you really like me?
And so he's like, yeah, he starts smooching up on her leg a little. And then she's like, oh, and by the way, I know what that ring's from. It's the Earl's fucking ring. His uncle gave it to him. Yeah, it's a well-known ring from that family. So funny you took it from someone.
Now, then, do we cut to, is this where we cut to Lagertha getting ready for the wedding?
No, this is, I think, where we go to the downtown. Right, we go downtown and we see Floki putting down the kid in the basket. In the middle of town.
Oh my goodness, I love this.
And as Floki throws the kid in the basket, and the basket's in the middle of all the children playing in the middle of town.
Yeah, everyone's playing ball. All the little kids.
Keep away from No Bone.
Well, he wanted to play, even though he didn't say so. Mom asked him, and he seemed to express facially that he wanted to play.
Yep.
And so, Floki put him in the little cart, and no one would throw the ball to him, which was pretty shitty. And it became a keep away from Ivar. Like, what the fuck? Everyone knows, like, even if they think he's weird and they're afraid of him or whatever, like, he is the prince. He's the king and queen's son. This is pretty interesting and disrespectful for a kid in that position. And like a couple of them do throw the ball to him, and immediately another kid pounces on him and tries to pull the ball away from him.
Immediately.
Yeah.
And he does pull it away.
Well, yeah, the first one or two times.
And then Floki walks over and pulls the ball away from that kid and tosses it back to Ivar.
And he's pounced on
by the same kid immediately.
So a fight, a tug of
war fight, and I'm like,
Ivar wants to fucking play.
And of course, I'm like, Ivar, punch that kid right in the fucking jaw, man. And why hasn't Ivar thrown that ball back already, man? It's called, you're playing Kelly. He gets thrown the ball. He just wants to hold it. He's not going to throw it off.
Never got a chance.
I know. I'm just
My goodness.
But yeah, so
Thank you, Al.
No, he doesn't punch him.
Oh no, he goes above and beyond. He axes that kid in the head. My ball.
His little axe. Who gave him that axe?
I don't know, but it was nice. It was a nice little baby, a starter axe.
Was it Floki who gave him the axe as a baby or something, or did Ragnar give it to him? I want to know. I forget who gave it